Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360. This bulletin is coming to you from Adisawe, Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I need some on the top of the bulletin. This evening we have the headlines coming up. Stay with us.
60 Headlines is brought to you by
About 10 farming communities in the prime Ashanti region cut off due to deplorable state of the main Bekwai Konyao Road.
Still in the Ashanti region, a collapsed bridge cuts off several farming communities in the Fijakwabre district.
And on our series on Poor Road tonight, we focus on Dom Kwabenya.
Meanwhile, Vice President announces policy to commence construction of concrete roads across the country. We have details coming up shortly. To stay with us.
And tonight we start the bulletin on roads, and residents of Dom Pilatu keep experiencing lung-related infections due to the dusty nature of their road. Now, Kukwa Mensah reports commercial drivers have also resorted to the use of aged vehicles due to the bad nature of the road.
Of the four-dimensional roads which connect residents of the Dome Pilatu community to other adjoining communities is tarred. The roads are full of potholes and ditches which make it difficult for vehicles to ply. Some of the ditches have gathered water, making the road muddy and unmotorable. Vehicles often break down in the middle of the road. The station master of Dome Pilatu, Victor Kumi, laments how the bad nature of the road weakens their vehicles, compelling them to resort to the use of aged vehicles.
As we don't have good condition cars here, the cars is very bad, so they always complain, and the road is very bad too. You can see that sometimes absorbers and then pass it cost.
Some also lament how they have to argue with passengers over fares, which are sometimes exorbitant because of the nature of the road.
When we charge them, they don't want to pay. When we tell them the road is not correct, they will tell you that they don't have money to pay. So you have to take it like that.
The dusty nature of the roads cannot be overlooked whenever a vehicle passes. This has discolored most buildings along the stretch. Residents and small businesses that operate in the area have condemned how authorities seem to have ignored their plight.
We send our children to the hospital almost every month. Adjoa Safwa should do something about this, or she will not be welcome if she comes to solicit for votes.
The dresses we sew become very dirty, and our customers always fight with us.
Residents want the Dome Pilatu roads reconstructed as soon as possible.
And the Tema Industrial Road is gradually turning into a death trap. Drivers and commuters who ply the stretch are agitated over its deplorable nature and blame its neglect on city authorities. A report by Helen Anyuwija.
Road safety officials say poor roads are a major cause of accidents. They, however, do not rule out errors such as speeding, distracted driving and drunk driving as among the causes. Tema's beauty as a city is a sharp contrast to the state of roads. The Tema Industrial Area Road around the oil refinery poses a challenge to commuters. It has retarded economic activities for the people of the Kron district. Commuters have described it as a death trap. Potholes have taken over the best part of the road, compelling drivers to make a detour to the road leading to Valco before joining the road again. A driver, Benjamin Asante, who regularly plies the road, says there has been several accidents. Some drivers also say they spend several minutes on the road due to its poor nature. The chairman of the Konkantamansu Youth Association, David Na, disclosed the road was constructed 6 years ago and has since seen no rehabilitation.
Formally, when you leave Po and you are going to Tema, it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That is 10 minutes. Now you spend about 2 hours. The cost is when Chess Petroleum is supplying, when fuel is supplying, and then there's this traffic jam. We expect the authorities to come out and do something about this.
Drivers in the area also complained about the Driver Vehicle and Licensing Authority DVLA road, which has been left to deteriorate.
And now the single carriageway from Tetekwashi to Medina, which is the main arterial road to the eastern part of Accra, has exceeded its capacity to cope with the high traffic, estimated at 30,000 vehicles a day at a time. Residents, commuters and pedestrians in and around the area risk their lives to cross the highway daily due to uncompleted footbridge on the stretch. Akosua Jason visited the area and has come through with this report.
Construction of the Tetekwashi Medina Road began in 2006 at a cost of $43 million with Messrs Sonitra as the contractor. The project entailed the reconstruction of a 4.6-kilometer 3-lane dual carriageway with 2 interchanges at the University of Ghana and the Atomic Junction, the construction of 2 pedestrian subways and installation of streetlights. Later, the reconstruction of the 5.6-kilometer road from Medina to Pantine included footbridges funded by the Arab Bank for the Economic Development in Africa, Saudi Fund for Development and the Government of Ghana at the cost of 38.6 million cedis. The footbridges are located near Firestone, Medina Zongo Junction, the Redco Flats, Ritz Junction, SDA Junction and Adentan Barrier. The need for the construction of the footbridges became necessary after there were several pedestrian knockdowns on the N1 highway. This prompted the government to include footbridges from the Adentan Barrier to Atomic Junction Road in November 2014. Construction of these bridges were being executed in a speedy manner, and one would have thought work would have been completed by now. Instead, work has stalled for the past 3 years.
Certainly, if they are there, people who want to safely cross will use the bridges and to avoid knockdowns.
At Redco and other places, people scale the concrete wall which divide the median to cross the road. Many people have lost their lives as a result of this.
People who want to use a shortcut to cross, and occasionally we've had people being knocked down by vehicles, motorcycles, and even ordinary bicycles.
The medians at some portion of the stretch are overgrown with weeds as maintenance remains poor here. Pedestrians' footbridges need to be completed as soon as possible to save lives.
It is sad watching school children trying to cross the streets alone. On Saturdays, it is more pathetic.
For those at Medina Zongo Junction, the police mostly assist in directing traffic, but pedestrians still have a difficulty crossing the road. Places where the police are not present, people cross the road haphazardly, putting their lives in danger.
Fearful to see pedestrians strategically cross the busy highway, but it is also not clear when the footbridges will be constructed. For how long can they live in such fear? Akosua Jason, reporting for TV3 News from Medina.
And in the eastern region, poor road network is impacting negatively on farming activities at Kwaminto in the Kwapem South District. And Most of the youth have left for urban cities because farming is not lucrative due to the deplorable nature of roads.
Farming is the mainstay of the people of Kwame Nton. The people cultivate cassava, maize, pepper, cocoyam, tomatoes and pineapple as a major crop. The main types of pineapple grown here are the smooth cayenne, MD2 and sugar love. The poor nature of the road, according to the farmers, is affecting their activities. The farmers complained the youth who are supposed to take over the mantle of farming from the elderly are gradually migrating to urban centers in search of non-existent jobs owing to the lack of capital and poor road network.
We need 14,000 to complete 1 acre. And the 14,000 for the farmer to raise this 14,000. The farmer, you don't have that money to do this 1 acre. For transport, when you go in for one truck, they will charge you 600 Ghana cedis. And if you don't have, then the rotten pineapple will be there.
Erosion has eaten deep in roads in the area. The chief of the town, Odikro Nana Oponkwafo, called for immediate intervention to enable them cut their farm produce to market centers in Ebri and in Sawam.
The poor nature of the road has stalled economic activities. Traders often carry their wares for far distance to the community because no driver wants to ply the stretch. Attempts by the community to raise money to construct the road was unsuccessful.
Meanwhile, the outgoing Eastern Regional Manager at the Department of Feeder Roads, Kanafari Kuma, in a telephone interview said the community is not in the department's database but would be considered after an update.
Now away from roads. The structure housed in the Chiripo Imaye Primary School in the Bonafo region is on the verge of collapse. The Waterside Community School block is in dire need of urgent rehabilitation due to its high state of deterioration.
There is no access road linking the area. An alternative route is on a boat from Yeji in the Pru district. The community's 500 population is mainly made up of fishermen and farmers. Residents lack social amenities. This is the only primary school put up in the mid-90s with a student population of 200. Years of neglect has seen the school building in bad condition. Teachers say teaching and learning is difficult. The school is manned by one trained teacher who is assisted by 2 youth employment personnel. A teacher, Joshua J., bemoaned the deplorable condition of the school and its impact on the children.
They don't feel like coming to teach here because even accommodation itself is a problem. So when they post them here, they find it very difficult to come.
According to the chief of Chiripo, Aimaye, Nana Chumesi Accra, the school serves 47 communities along the Volta Lake. He says peoples from nearby communities have to rent houses in Yeji in order to attend school. Nana Ankra described the situation as worrying, as most of the girls are often impregnated, while the boys also end up in vices. He appealed for improved amenities for the community.
Population not less than 3,000.
We have a population of over 3,000, and of all the communities around us, this school infrastructure is supposedly the best.
And away from the Bonoafu region, the paramount chief of Esikaso in the New Drabble municipality of the Eastern region, Brema Konedu Yadom II, has called on President Akufo-Addo to consider the area for the construction of government's One District, One Factory project. He laments the area is underdeveloped despite its huge natural resource deposits.
It is a farming community in the Upper East Achim constituency with a population of 5,000 people. The predominant food crops grown in the area are cocoa, cassava and plantain. The road network within the district is also in a deplorable state, making it unmotorable. According to residents, they rely on only motor riders since it is their only source of transport. The poor state of the roads here is badly affecting the livelihood of farmers. 72-year-old boy is a farmer who has over 10 acres of cocoa farm. According to him, the poor nature of the road impedes the smooth transportation of their crops to the market. Paramount chief of the area, Brema Konedu Yadom II, was worried his community was lagging behind in terms of development and called for government intervention.
Yes, Rabbi. So, one district, one factory.
We plead on the government to consider our district for the implementation of its One District, One Factory project because we have all the raw materials here. I believe this will go a long way to provide jobs for our youth.
Member of Parliament for the Upper West Achim constituency, Derek Ohene Asifu Bekoyi, added his voice for calls to develop the district.
We are appealing to the Highway and the Feeder Roads Authority. I've made special appeals. We will continue. If we leave this work only to the District Assembly, they cannot do it. I've been a DCE before, and I know how much it's going to take the Assembly to be able to re-gravel this road. The common fund that comes to the Assembly is not enough to take care of some of these problems. Re-graveling of the roads should be taken care by the feeder roads and by the highways so that we can upgrade the road networks in that area.
And now the National Service Scheme says it did not post any personnel to Denchira in the central region because their service are not needed there. Officials of the scheme have denied no service personnel was posted due to the lynching of Major Maxwell Mahama.
Some 91,000 national service personnel have been posted across the country for the 2017-2018 service year. There are concerns as to why no service personnel was posted to Denchira Boase in the central region this year. Some have even related it to the security situation in the town after the lynching of Major Maxwell Adam Mahama.
If you go to Alabanyo, Akachi area, the point I'm trying to make is that it is not because that unfortunate incident happened that led to the death of Major Mahama, and because of that we are not posting anybody there. No, we don't have to link the two. If nobody is posted, and of course in our system, we cannot find anybody who has been posted there, just because there is no request for anybody to be posted there. If there were requests, we would have posted people there anyway.
The scheme's public relations officer, Ambrose Enchoa, also explained factors considered before postings are done to volatile areas.
Before we do the posting, we will ensure that they are safe. I remember there were times that we had a situation in Boko not too long ago, and the situation was such that we had to withdraw the service personnel from there. So we just gave them a notice that they could move to nearby areas. One also happened before postings, and we asked them to stay on till the place was cool before we had a green light from the National Security. Then the service personnel went there.
Meanwhile, the management of National Service Scheme has postponed the date for the 2017-2018 National Service from July 17 to July 24, 2017. Management explained this is to enable stakeholders prepare adequately for the process.
In other news, Ghana's constitution says the country is a secular state. However, some have argued that there is some inclination towards the Christian religion. The following report seeks to identify what the country's religious identity is, whether secular or otherwise, and the implication of that identity for religious expression in public life.
Let ego be silent. Let pride and flesh be silent.
Religion is an integral part of the lifestyle of the African. Ghana has a diverse religious background. Data from the 2010 Housing and Population Census indicate 71.2% of the population are Christian, 17.6% Muslim, and 5.2% adherents of traditional beliefs. Non-believers accounted for only 5.3%. There is also some 1% of the population who do not believe in any of the three main religions. These religions have lived peacefully. Though there are controversies about religious discrimination and stereotypes and government overindulgence of religion, Ghana is a secular state according to the 1992 Constitution, but some have questioned this. A law lecturer, Kofi Koshiga, as well as two lecturers at the Faculty of Law at the KNUST, Christopher Nineveh and Edmond N. Amasa, have done extensive work on the topic. This is where the argument starts. The Constitution depicts Ghana as a secular state, but the very first of the preamble seems contrary. In the name of the Almighty God, we, the people of Ghana. An expert defines a secular state as an idea pertaining to secularism, whereby a state is or purports to be officially neutral in matters of religion, supporting neither religion nor irreligion. The clear indication is therefore that Ghana is a religious nation, but at the same time secular in the sense that the same constitution prohibits the elevation of any religious organization into a state religion. Dr. Mark Kweku Mensah is a lecturer at the Sociology Department of the University of Ghana.
What I think the Constitution, by declaring Ghana as a secular state, has been able to do for us is to make us respect each other. Assuming we have said that Ghana is a religious state, do you know what the implication will be? The implication will be that people who do not believe in anything do not have the right to live.
He did not agree with the position that Ghana be declared a Christian state.
There's a possibility that in the next 50, 60 years, the population of Ghanaians who say that they are not religious will be increasing, and it's been increasing. The last 3 census shows that that population is increasing. Would that call for another amendment when they make, say, 15% or 20% of the population?
Dr. Ben also did not share the view that declaring it a religious state would have any social implication, especially on reducing social vices.
Definitely, that's my position. I don't think it is going to change anything. What is going to change Ghana and make Ghana better is when the rules and the regulations are so established, whether in the legislative, whether in the constitution, whether even within our individual territories, are made to work.
Ghana started with recognizing only Christian holidays. Then Islamic holidays were added. Other minor religions have been left out. Religious liberty is, however, guaranteed, and all citizens are free to believe and manifest any religious faith. Catherine Frimpoma, TV3.
Well, Lisa, what are your thoughts about this debate as well?
Do I have any? I think Ghana is just a fertile land for multi-religious practices and faith, so everybody is allowed to practice their faith, and there's no problem about it.
So those are Issa's thoughts. What about yours? Send us your comments, Facebook or Twitter.com/.
Now, academic activities in the Okania CDA Primary School in the Karachi East District of the Volta region are being conducted in a dilapidated building. Robert Abilba reports the over 60-year-old school block is not only in a deplorable state, but keeps sinking and is only held in place by makeshift beams.
Prior to the establishment of the Okania CDA Primary School in the late 50s, children from the community had to travel long distances to access primary education, a development the people say led to many being discouraged from going to school. The 6-unit classroom block was therefore to avert the challenge. Unfortunately, the structure has since remained the same 60 years on, serving all the educational needs from nursery through to primary 6. The entire structure has developed deep cracks and is only held in place with pieces of bars, yet the classrooms are heavily crowded with pupils. The head teacher's office, which also serves as a storeroom, is no exception and remains a ticking time bomb. Palm branches shed serve as teachers' common room. Head teacher of the school, Senor Gali, fears the worst may happen.
It continued to break and they were working on it. Now they are very tired. They can't do anything more. The only thing is the government's intervention to help us. The enrollment continued to increase year by year, and right now they are more than the classroom.
The assembly member for the Okaniase electoral area, Emmanuel Kofi Lazi, explained that several appeals for help have not yielded any results.
Everything is condemned. If the books are in the room, at times when it is raining, they have to get some places for the books. Otherwise, all the books will be destroyed by the rain. We have been the first in the BC for about 2 or 3 times. Still, we are within first and fifth in the league table.
They called on government to intervene to prevent any disaster.
Meanwhile, inadequate supply of computers is affecting the effective teaching and learning of ICT at the Okania CDA Junior High School in the Karachi East District. Over 150 pupils share 3 laptops. A development teachers say pose a lot of challenge to the teaching and learning of ICT. A report by Robert Abilba.
The Karachi East District Assembly in 2011 presented the Okania CDA Junior High School with 14 laptops. However, lack of storage office or stores to keep the computers in the school led to the early damage of most of the computers. The development has brought the school back to square one, as the over 150 pupils have to share 3 computers. The ICT teacher Eric Agbanu and the girls' prefect Irene Lazi shared their frustrations.
So at times I use my phone to enable the students to understand certain things. Even though we have laptops here, but they are unlimited, we still need more to add to the ones we already have in order to promote the teaching and learning in the classroom.
We find it difficult to learn how to do the practical. And even those behind the laptop, the rest of us, we stand behind looking at them. And even we fail in our terminal exams.
Another challenge in the community is poor access to telecommunications network services. Residents have to climb up to higher locations in order to make and receive calls or connect to the internet. 2 newly posted teachers, Oboi Yamba and Amidu Sumaila, were on their way up to the only spot to connect to their families back home and shared their experience.
We don't have access to even information from office. We will travel from far place, high motorbike for them to bring us just to make call. And sometimes you even come, you call, you will not get the person, you will go back, and then after classes you have to high motorbike and come here again.
A colleague over here was bitten by snake because of this network problem. Just coming to access network and call his family members for information. In fact, we are suffering over here. When you come, the network is not even strong to get the information you are searching.
In a related development, the dilapidated nature of the Esukwakwa Roman Catholic Junior High School in the same community is affecting enrollment at the school. Parents have stopped sending their wards to the school, whilst those already enrolled are being withdrawn. The school, since its inception many decades ago, has operated in an uncompleted structure which is deteriorating. Pupils' population has now reduced from 245 to 75.
Now, a policy to commence construction of concrete roads across the country is at the cabinet level. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at the dedication service of the Tehila Temple of the Harvest Chapel International affirmed the move would ensure the longevity of roads.
The need to adopt the construction of concrete roads in the country has been necessary due to the rampant destruction of roads by some heavy-duty trucks. Currently, the 19-kilometer Tema motorway remains the only concrete road constructed in 1964. Addressing congregants of the Harvest Chapel International, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia indicated a national policy is being discussed at cabinet level to concretize all roads in the country.
Since 2014 in India, they have a policy to only build concrete roads because it works out much cheaper. And we have been discussing this as recently as last week in Parliament.
He also reinforced government's commitment to develop a policy towards the construction of a national cathedral. The Vice President was, however, worried by the unlawful amassing of wealth by some public servants.
If we are wise in public service, we should understand that we are there for a limited time and we should use that time to make a difference in the lives of people. You are not going to go and make a difference in the life of people by stealing their money.
Signing Bishop of the Action Faith Chapel, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, who was a guest speaker for the occasion, challenged Ghanaians to dedicate their services to God and country. As part of the activities to mark the dedication of the Tehila Temple, the leadership of Harvest Chapel is planning of constructing a $200,000 ICT facility at Abeka in the Accra metropolis. The facility, when completed, would provide ICT training and entrepreneurial skills to the youth beyond the catchment area.
It will help us to reduce the incidence of unemployment and also to give expression to the government's avowed aim of developing our great nation, Ghana.
Former Chief Justice Georgina Theodora Wood has encouraged judges to work with diligence and respect to enhance the image of the judiciary and promote the tenets of democracy. The former Supreme Court judge was speaking at a farewell state dinner in her honor at the banquet hall in Accra.
The state dinner was to honor the former Chief Justice and to celebrate her unflinching service to the country. The astute judge was the first and longest-serving female Chief Justice in the history of the country. President Akufo-Addo praised her hard work, especially in helping restore public confidence in the judiciary.
Her service to our country is not over. She has taken her place on the Council of State, from where she will continue to give our nation the benefit of her rich experience. Nonetheless, I can still wish her a happy retirement.
The former Chief Justice was grateful for the support and the opportunity to serve and admonished judges to work with integrity.
The joy of serving at the pleasure of my country in the endless pursuit of true justice according to law have inspired me to rise every morning and work for this noble cause. And I encourage all judges, to work hard, to exhibit true integrity, and they can count on the support of the Ghana Bar Association.
Meanwhile, current Chief Justice Sophia Akufo has urged the Judicial Service Association of Ghana, JUSAG, to construct multifaceted edifices in all the 10 regions of the country at a sword-cutting ceremony for the construction of an office complex by JUSAG in Accra. The Chief Justice was confident the initiative will decentralize the operations of the association in the regions.
Multifunctional office complex, which forms part of the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana's National Infrastructure Development Project, aimed at facilitating the smooth operation of the association. The $19 million facility, which is solely funded by the association, will be constructed on its 4-acre land at Abokobi in Accra. The edifice, which is expected to be completed within 3 years, will, among other things, entail 1,800-seater capacity conference halls, a 3-bedroom executive house, and 7-story office complex. President of the Judicial Service Association, Alex Nati, noted the association has secured land in other regions for similar projects.
This land and issues regarding its acquisition commenced over 3 decades ago, and successive leaders have worked towards its acquisition and protection. And this current administration is only following up in their blueprint.
Lauding the association for its efforts, Chief Justice Sophia Akufo was optimistic the move will enhance the activities of the association.
I admonish the contractors, Green City Housing Limited, to do well to complete the construction strictly according to the specifications and within the scheduled 3-year period, so that there will be no disappointment, and particularly there will be no unnecessary cost overrun.
2 suspected armed street robbers have been arrested by the police in East Legon. The 2, Senusu Zibo and Abudu Mohammed, were arrested after they attacked an Israeli national and snatched his bag containing 4,030 cedis and other valuable documents.
The incident reportedly occurred at 1 p.m. Friday, July 14, around the American House, East Legon. The victim, an Israeli national, reportedly received a text message whilst driving along the American House Road and parked to check the message. In the process, someone knocked at the side of his door, alleging he had a flat tire. The victim got down to inspect, only to be attacked by one of the suspects, who pointed a sharp object at him. The suspect ordered him to go back into the car. The victim then realized to his shock that one of his car back doors has been forced open. The suspect, who pointed the sharp object at the victim, then took to his heel. A close look revealed the second suspect was holding the victim's bag containing 4,030 cedis, driving license, passports, and other valuable business and personal documents. The victim raised an alarm, attracting public attention. The robbers jumped on a motorbike they had parked nearby and sped off. A cabby pursued and knocked them off the bike, but the robbers got up and continued to escape on foot. However, a timely arrival of 2 police patrolmen stopped them. The 2 were apprehended together with the snatched bag with the content intact. The suspects then gave their names as 18-year-old Senusi Zibo, claiming he resides at Odona, and Abudu Mohammed, 27, who lives at Adabraka. The 2 admitted the offense in their caution statement to the police and have been detained pending further investigations.
And now the attention seems to be turning onto street robbery and with motorbike. So the general publics are advised to be extra careful, especially those who deal in businesses, big-time businesses, and handle a lot of money or move a lot of money from one point to the other. They should be careful the environment in which they transact business.
The Legon District Police Commander, Superintendent Cephas Arthur, urged the public to be forthcoming with information on crimes in their vicinity. The 2 are to be charged with conspiracy to commit crime to wit, robbery and robbery.
Now, the Director of Research, Monitoring and Evaluation of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Chireme Etiaine, says HIV transmission among female sex workers to their clients is 7% much higher than the general population transmission rate of 1.6%. Speaking at the end of a two-day strategic forum in Accra, he called for the intensified education on dangers to get the epidemic under control.
Latest statistics from the Ghana AIDS Commission indicate that HIV/AIDS prevalence stands at 1.6 million, with 294,000 being adults. Also, new infections stands a little over 20,000 people, with AIDS deaths decreasing significantly. Despite efforts at containing the disease, people continue to die from AIDS. There is a 30% reduction in annual AIDS deaths from 16,320 in 2010 to 10,074 in 2013. The National Strategic Plan had documented lessons from previous plans to help improve on the quality of response as well as preventing new infections. Highlights of the plan looks at the high-impact activities such as behavioral change interventions, promotion of condoms and lubricants, concentration on key population, treatment and care for all to ensure universal access and equity. It also looked at the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV and programs to fast-track the 1990 target, which aims at ensuring access to care by victims to help reduce viral load. The Director of Research, Monitoring and Evaluation, Chireme Etiaine, lamented that HIV/AIDS transmission from female sex workers to clients is on the rise.
The HIV prevalence among female sex workers is about 7%, which is much higher than the general population, which is 1.6%. So as a country, as we intensify our efforts to gain epidemic control, we have to focus more on female sex workers.
The board chair of the Ghana AIDS Commission, who doubles as Minister of Aviation, Cecilia Dapa, said more funds are required to keep the pace of work and reach the vulnerable.
We are going to set up a committee for fundraising that will help us get some money to feed into the programs that they have. People have forgotten about HIV/AIDS, and I believe it's wrong. It's always with us. By the time you are here, there will be an upsurge here. So it should always be on the front burner to make sure we are on top of it.
The Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Ambassador Dr. Mokoa Blay Edujemfi, said as a result of Ghana's low middle income status, donor support for the Commission to manage the national response is declining.
Sports news coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
Hi, good evening, and it's time for some sports action with me, Thierry Nyan, here on News 360. Now, in the Ghana Premier League, after the shift of games from Saturday to Sunday due to Kotoko's game against Hearts being postponed indefinitely, Bichem United played against Boga Stars in their only game today. Bichem United moved to 6th place on the league table after thrashing Boga Stars by 4-0. But there is another move, this time on the top scoring charts. Ahmed Toure grabbed his hat-trick on the day to overtake Nicholas Jan on the top goal scorers chart after a long dominance at the top. Maxwell Frimpong also was on the score sheet. The result means that Boga Stars are still rooted at the bottom of the league table and are a sure bet for relegation with 7 more matches to spare. But these are the remaining fixtures you should keep an eye on for tomorrow, except for Kotoko and Accra Hearts of Oak. Wild Stars will face Liberty Professionals. Brekum Chelsea will come up against Wafa, I should say, who are the league leaders. Ashanti Gold, the most informed side, the best side currently, with a 5-game barometer. They are the best side in the Ghana Premier League, and they come up against Omina Sharks at Obuase. Ejena Stars, second placed, will face Ebisuan Dwellers. Great Olympics will clash with Medjema Sporting Club, and an all-Tema affair between Tema Youth and all Inter Allies. So we wait to see exactly what happens over there as well. We'll brief you subsequently here on TV3. Let's move away then. Chelsea fans can finally have a laugh. The Blues have signed midfielder Temie Bakayoko from French champions Monaco for an undisclosed fee. The 22-year-old France international has signed a 5-year deal with the Premier League champions. He becomes Chelsea's second major summer signing after they bought Antonio Rudiger from AS Monaco. Bakayoko was part of the Monaco squad that reached the Champions League semi-finals last season, going out of the competition to Juventus. So that was Bakayoko. He's now a Chelsea player. He becomes also the second most expensive player Chelsea have signed in their history after Fernando Torres. What a tag that should be for the midfielder. But let's go straight to TV3's Ghana's Strongest Reality Show. It took week 10 of its episode to Medina Libya Cortez for the second time running, with fans making it to the arena to support their favorite athletes in what was going to be an exciting one. There were 4 events held on the day, which included the bench press, deadlift, sack, and Ghana stone loading race, and finally the car pull as the last challenge. It was extremely demanding for most of the athletes, but had Damian Smith topple all of the events held on the day, earning a total of 58 points. Mustafa Ahen displaced Ahmed Boache as he sealed the second position with 54 points. Godfrey Akobila maintained the third position in succession with 50 points. Ahmed Boache and Victor Ampofo accrued 48 and 47 points to seal 4th and 5th positions, respectively. The Week 10 event saw the only man from the northern region to have made it through to the quarterfinal. The reality show, Lucius Moyang, getting booted out of the competition as he earned the lowest point of 43. Now, to a rather sad one, I know, for a lot of us. Sports broadcast journalist Christopher Poku was laid to rest at his hometown, Domiabra, in Ashanti region today. The funeral witnessed a lot of sports journalists and top officials in the sporting fraternity. His casket was carried into the ambulance by sports journalists as they paid their last respect for the great service he offered to promote sports in Ghana. Opoku died last May in the United Kingdom following a difficult battle with cancer, and his body was flown in from the UK last Wednesday. He was a known face in the Ghana sporting landscape, having worked with several radio and television stations. He left behind a wife and 3 children. And you should also know that in the world of tennis, Gabin Muguruza has beaten Venus Williams to become the Wimbledon champion, her first in her career. But that's all that we bring to you in the world of sports. My name is Thierry Nyan. Portia Gabo stands by to bring you some international news.
And in this segment tonight, over 100 ladies showed up for the Accra auditions of Ghana's most beautiful season 11. But tonight, we take a look at the fashion trend.
Last couple of years have always shown up in African print-made dresses for the audition. Some have blended it with a touch of foreign wears, whilst others have maintained a strictly print look. At a stage where there is a lot of campaign on patronize made in Ghana, we find out what the motivation behind their choice of clothing is.
GMB seeks to promote the culture of our region, so what I'm wearing, I feel comfortable and I feel beautiful in it.
I'm the type that I always go with my African print, and as a Ghanaian, you should be in this to show that you are really a true Ghanaian.
So I'd want to promote my culture, one. And secondly, I want to empower the women in my region because they weave the fabric. So by purchasing and wearing it, I'm rather marketing it for them.
As Ghanaians, we've got to be proud of where we come from. And I think this is straight out of Ghana.
Auditions for the 2017 edition of the pageant is still ongoing.